Hi folks, this is Matt Fogg here at the Mid-Coast School of Music. Thank you so much for checking out our videos. We're really excited to be producing these right now. And the next video we're going to do today is a video on open voicings for piano. This is a very simple open voicing I'm going to show you today. There'll be a lot more to follow, but this one is going to involve, well, first of all, let's talk about what an open voicing is. Open to me means not closed. So closed would be when you have all the notes in a chord that you can play, you know, with one hand. Open would be spreading them across the piano in a larger 2-octave style of voicing. So to me, I classify voicings by how they sound. So closed position would be voicings that are nice and tight. Open voicings would be ones that stretch across the piano using both hands. So that's how I kind of hear it. Then there's drop 2 voicings, which is another class. We kind of talked about that in a previous video. And then there's polychords, which we've also talked about those. So I kind of have different systems. So this system is called open voicings. Okay, so back to this. What we're going to do is we're going to take the root, so we're going to do a C chord, the 7th, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 9th. Notice how in this voicing we are not doubling any notes. The most important rule about voicing chords openly is that if you can create a voicing where you do not double anything but you have one of everything, you're going to have the best sounding chord voicing possible. And that's because, like, I can sort of use an analogy with cooking. When you're making a dish, if the food tastes bland, do you want to add more of the same ingredient that you've already put into the food? No, because what you're just going to do is taste more of that. So let's say something's salty. If you put more salt in it, it's going to get saltier, right? Well, that's how chords work too. If you're playing a chord and it sounds uninteresting, it may be because you're doubling the root, or you're doubling the 5th, or you're doubling the 7th, or the 3rd, or whatever. The best voicings are the ones that have one of everything in it. So what we're going to do, 1 root, 1 7th, 1 3rd, 1 5th, 1 9th. Put it all together, you get a really nice sounding balanced chord. There's no need to put 2 5ths in this chord. It's just superfluous. There's no need to put another 3rd in this chord, because now it doesn't ring openly like it did a minute ago. So by adding more notes of what you already have, you tend to take away from the chord. So, root, 7th, 3rd, 5th, 9th for a major chord. You should practice these in all kinds of different keys. You can go up chromatically like this. You could also skip around, C, go to F, go to B flat, go to E flat. I'm a big fan of practicing chromatically and in the circle of fifths or the cycle of fourths, however you want to think about it, backwards, frontwards. You can also move in whole steps. That's a great way to practice, you know. You can move all around the flats. You can do the flat keys, the white keys. Any way that works for you to get this voicing down. So root, 7th, 3rd, 5th, 9th, C major 9. Now we're going to make a slight alteration to that. Root, flat 7th, flat 3rd, 5th, and 9th. Do that again. Root, flat 7th, flatted 3rd, 5th, 9th, C minor 9 now. So that voicing is only a little bit different than the one we did a minute ago, just by making a couple of switches. So C minor 9 voicing. Again, practice this chromatically, practice it any way you want until you get fluid at moving around with it. Last voicing for today. This can be for a dominant chord. Root, 7th, 3rd, 13th, 9th. Now, some of you may not know what the 13th is. Basically what that is if you start up the scale and you continue, you'll get to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the 13th is an upper extension of the scale. Another way of thinking of the 13th is it's the 6th note of the scale. That may be easier for some people to think of it. I used to think of it like that way all the time. Now I kind of just think of it as the 13th for whatever reason. So it's root, flat 7, 3rd, 13 or 6, and 9. Put it together, you get a nice big open voicing for C13. So we've got root, 7th, 3rd, 5th, 9th, C major 9. Root, flat 7th, flat 3rd, 5th, 9th, C minor 9. Root, flat 7th, 3rd, 13th, and 9th, C13. Again, you can practice all these voicings in all kinds of different keys. I'll show you a little trick, what I like to do. I'll grab my metronome, and I'll put it on, you know, maybe slower tempo, 80, and I'll say, okay, I'll start out with 1, 2, 3, 4, switch. It's a good way to discipline yourself. And then after you can do it with 4 beats in between, you can do it with 2 beats. 1, 2, switch, 2, switch, 2. Then you do 1. And if you get really ambitious, you can do 8th notes. And so on and so forth. That's a great way to use the metronome to discipline yourself to practice better and use your time more effectively. Thanks very much for checking out our videos. Feel free to check out the rest of them on the blog, and thanks for watching.